Welcome to another episode of The Corner Booth, the official podcast of restaurantowner.com. Today, the restaurant industry is changing faster than ever. Learn from successful independent restaurant operators and other industry leaders as they share best practices that will help you engage your team, delight your guests, and grow your business.
And welcome everybody again to another episode of Corner Booth. I'm Chris Tripoli with restaurantowner.com. And today I'm really excited because we're going to be talking about a unique style of cooking and its impact on barbecue. So I know we've got a lot of barbecue enthusiasts out there, and we've had some other barbecue guests. Barbecue is just an American thing, man. It's a little different depending upon the regional representation of the country. But today I want to introduce you to a very exciting guest, Utkarsh Yadav. He is the founder of Sigri Indian Barbecue. Sigri Indian Barbecue's got 2 locations. We're going to hear all about that. Sigri Barbecue with Utkarsh. Utkarsh, thank you so much for joining me today. Welcome to Corner Booth.
Hey, Chris. I'm very, it's pleasure to be on this podcast and share our story, which, comes from thousands of miles away.
Well, that's the interesting thing about food. We seem to love the fact that food not only nourishes us, but teaches us different things about its origins. That's one of the things that has always excited me, is that we're learning about different things in different parts of the world, and we're doing it through food. So Thank you so much for doing that.
Yep. It brings cultures all together. It brings communities, to gel within each other. And, it gives an opportunity for people to know each other more better.
Well, and let's get started on that point, just knowing each other a little bit better, because obviously I want to learn a lot about your restaurant, your concept, the menu, and all that good stuff. But before we jump into that, why don't we learn a little bit about you and the others maybe that came together? How did you first get started in food, and how did this come about?
Oh, boy. Yeah. So I was born and raised in Mumbai. It's a very crowded, densely populated region. It's in the state of Maharashtra in India. And I was 19 years old. I was 18 years old when I moved to the US. And I moved straight into the huddle of New York City. I did my undergrad here. I did my master's here, both in computer science. And throughout my academic years, I started as a dishwasher. I used to work as a waiter. I used to work as a boss boy. I worked as a party promoter. And throughout those 6 years of my life, all I got the information and the knowledge was about how to run a restaurant, and from ground up. And we made a couple of businesses flourish. Me and my other, the bartender, the partner in New York City. And then we started promoting parties in New York. There used to be standing on the corner of a street with our pamphlets and be like, "Hey guys, come to our party at ABC." And, the entry is free. Bring your girlfriends, and have a blast. And that really got that entrepreneurship within me, got pumping. And that's where I was about to complete my master's in 2016. That's when I was like, hey, if I want to get into something, and, by God's grace, if I don't fail, let's try something now. And actually, even before starting my first location, which was a cafe, I used to work at JP Morgan as an intern. So I worked there for 6 months, and then I quit. I'm like, I can't be on a desk all day. I'm so used to meeting with people, talking to people, serving them, being involved. And now I'm just in front of a computer. I can't do that. I can't code. I can't be slacking the manager all day. It's just not me. That's where the whole thing came up. That's where the whole thing came up from. And and knowing my roots back in Mumbai, I grew up on the streets. I was from, a household where for 19 years of my life, I lived in a room which was 10 feet by 10 feet. And, there are thousands of rooms lined up in the same colony, and we just, we go to each other's house. We talk to each other, and we eat food at everybody's house, and we grew up on our street.
Wow.
Eat-
Okay.
So that was everything I knew about food industry, and not just that. Something that I remember that when I used to go see my grandfather and grandmother in during my summer vacations, is eating the food on the highways. So there is this
Okay.
particular kind of restaurants that we have in India on the highways called dhabas. So the dhabas don't have gas line, they don't have any sort of, lines on the highway. It's very rough brick and mortar with no connectivity to the outside world. So they use like a generator for the lights, and for the cooking, they just use wood or coal and an open flame to cook their meats, to cook everything. And that was the barbecue that I thought it was until I came to the US. And I saw the same kind of culture was, being replicated in this community, in the culture where people on, holidays, people on a Memorial Day, on Labor Day, families come together and the barbecue. Thing what people do back home. So that was my way of just the connecting these two dots, and I'm like, hey, barbecuing your food and cooking your food on open flame is something that connects this globally, a global cuisine which is not so well known in the US.
No, but it sounds wonderful and it sounds incredibly authentic. I know what you're talking about. When you are in other parts of the world, sometimes the greatest, most authentic tasting food is where you find the locals along the streets in the local areas, or the tiny little, street vendors. And so I picture that when you were explaining it to me. And so the dhaba, if that was your inspiration, and I guess that's what became your first restaurant.
Yep, exactly. And that's where, because when we used to travel in bus. So bus stops, so the bus ride from Mumbai to my grandfather's house, which is in Ratnagiri, was about 11 hours.
Mm.
So for 11 hours, we are on bus, and the bus stops on the highway after every 2 hours at every single dhaba, because the people on the bus want to eat every 2 hours and eat at those like dhabas. So that was my main as a kid. Like, just imagine me as an 8-year-old who, as soon as the March hits, and I know, and then hey, we are gonna go to the grandpa's house. I
Nice.
know we're gonna take that ride, and that ride was something I really, it stays in my memory so vividly that it's, I can still smell that whole food.
So
I,
moved here, you were 18, worked in a variety of restaurant positions. I get it. Promoted parties, studied well in school, computer science. The JP Morgan intern thing, I know that doesn't fit. I can understand why you wanted to run away from that desk. But
yeah.
now you've got your own creation of the dhaba. When did it open? And where was your first location?
So Sigri Barbecue, the first location we opened in Newark, New Jersey. This was in 2018. We started, I started researching about it in 2016 when I started my, one of my early entrepreneur journey with a cafe.
Mm-hmm.
It was called the Mocha Town with my co-founder. And, that's when I was like, why haven't Indian food made it big? We have Italian food, we have, you know, the Mediterranean food, the Mexican food, which has their own thing. Like Chipotle, we have it. We have a
Sure.
kava now. We have everything. But for Indian food, which has been out there in the US for decades, haven't made it big. Maybe because it's not so approachable, and it's not so accessible for the local community.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we make something available for the people for Indian food? So that's how Sigri Barbecue came to the idea of why don't we make a concept where people can choose their own rice, they can choose their own protein, your sauce, their chutney, their salad, the naan, and the samosa. Give the option to the consumer how they want to serve their own palate. And that was one of the main inspiration behind Sigri Indian Barbecue, is to serve every single palate.
Got it. So everyone goes through the line, they pick their protein, they pick their rice.
Yep. They pick their rice, they pick the protein, they pick the sauce, they pick the salad, they pick the chutney. That's for your bowl. And for the kati rolls, also the same thing. And for the platters, they also get a naan and a samosa. We have live tandoors on the line where people can see their meats coming out from on the skewers. They can see their naans coming out from straight from the tandoor, fresh. We grind our own spices. We make the food. Also, another thing that was very important to me is to make the food fresh, because for my 6 years when I used to work in all these restaurants in New York City, every single chef, I don't want to badmouth about anybody, but everywhere I used to go, because they have 250 items on the menu. You cannot make 250 items every day.
No, that's really tough now.
So what they used to do is they make 3 kinds of curry for the whole month, and they keep it in the freezer. So every single day they take some out, you heat it up, mix it with the chicken. That's not Indian food. That's not why I loved Indian food. I loved street food because the vendors back home in India, they don't have a fridge. They don't have the capital to get the produce for the entire month. They go to the market every morning, they get their food, they chop it up, they cook the food, and they sell what they can sell, and they close their shop. And then they go home. And in the morning, they start all over it again because the food is fresh. That's why we like street food so much more better. Because
so you said that the name actually Sigri comes from a type of cooking.
Yep, it's just open flame cooking. Sigri.
Open flame cooking. Is there a particular charcoal that is needed, or do you have a variety of wood chips? What do you like to use?
So people call Sigri in a lot of other names, right? So on North, they call it Sagri. Back in the, Southwest, they call it Sigri.
Okay.
In Gujarat, they call it Sagri again. And then it's different states. So any wood fire or charcoal fire equipment or a form of, build that they do it on a clay between a couple stones. Some people even cook under the ground.
Yes.
The charcoal on top of it. That's what they call it, giving it a dum.
So you have yours visual. Tell us, I guess, a little bit about your restaurant. How large is it? How many do you seat? And do you see the wood burning, grill being cooking?
Yep. So we have the live tandoors. Tandoors is you have an open flame at the bottom, and you have a clay pot, and we cook everything in that clay pot in the skewers. Your bread goes on the clay, you slap it on the clay, and then you scrape it off. Same like eating a pita bread in the oven or the pizza, but instead of the gravity doing the thing, we stick it on the clay.
Okay.
We kind of fight against the gravity. And it's beautiful. It's the way we used to cook thousands of years ago, and it's still going on.
Nice.
And it's still very, very popular. And the reason why the meats and the other, protein don't dry out and it tastes so good, because there is no touching the surface. It's all on a skewer. It's all in a pot with all the flames around it.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's so much more tastier. It's just so much more. It's amazing.
Nice. So you were able to open this in 2018. So you've been operating for 7 years. Is it lunch and dinner? And is it a relatively small restaurant, or do you have room for private parties?
Yeah, so the Newark location is huge. We used to have 2 concepts over here. The second one that opened here in North Brunswick, that's about 1,800 square feet. And 1,800 square feet is also, for this location, is quite much. What we are looking to offer our franchisees to look for locations which is within 1,200 to 1,800. About
Okay.
45, 30 to 45 seats is way enough. You don't need a big footprint. It's basically you have a prep line and a small kitchen just to do the prep. And then right behind you at the prep line, you need a hood under which you're going to have your tandoors and your stove and your fryer. And that's about it.
So when did New Brunswick open?
That one opened in 2022. So that one's been operating for 3 years now.
And you still operate the company with you and your original partner?
Yep.
Excellent. So what are the more popular items that
So
you
the basic, the hero of our Sigri barbecue is our chicken tikka. That's the tikka skewered meat in the tandoor, which comes out, we chop it up and goes on the line. And quite honestly, everybody is a hero because, it's like creating a symphony, right? You have your higher tones, your lower tones, your earthy tones, and when they all mix and they all be orchestrated well, it's lovely to taste, to listen, to feel. So our rice, we have rice which has a lot of earthy tone. We have rice which has very high tones, like our Sigri saffron rice, which has saffron, which is the most expensive spice you can ever get.
Sure.
And so that one has a lot of flavor to it. You wanna have a combination of Sigri rice with chicken tikka to add a little more spice. But if you don't want the spice, you can go for the Malai chicken, which is not spicy at all. That's just
That's
marinade, cardamom seeds, fennel seeds, Parmesan cheese, black pepper, and salt, and that's it.
And
So
other than chicken, what other proteins do you work with and offer?
we have salmon that
Nice.
the make to order. We have lamb, then we have
Nice.
the paneer, which is we call it cheese, and an amazing option for vegetarians. And we also do grilled veggies with all the other greens. And for proteins, we also have sauces that has a lot of protein to it because we have chole, which has chickpeas, that's very high in protein, and we also offer dal, which is is with lentils. So there's
I
a
think
lot of options in your sauces as well. We offer the most popular sauce is the butter sauce, which is the most popular. Then
and
we
butter
have
sauce.
yep, that's the most popular for the butter chicken. People love the butter sauce. So we have butter chicken, we have the vindaloo sauce, we have the Caribbean sauce. Caribbean sauce is from South India. We have the recipe comes from over there with using our coconut milk, carrots, onions, and red peppers. And obviously you have to have saag, which is the spinach. So we have the spinach sauce. Then we have dal and the chole. So a lot of
Yeah,
sauces, like 6 sauces.
this is getting ridiculously hungry here.
You're not that
Well,
far.
what I love is the point of difference here. Not only is it a tremendous region and the Indian spices that you hand grind, but there's a tremendous amount of vegetarian options.
Exactly.
So you
Vegan
really,
vegetarian options. And right now, we are in a developing stage of, creating a new recipes and everything. But starting from 2018 until now, we have been completely nut free. We haven't used any nuts so far. No nut oil or even no sesame seeds, no walnuts, no cashews, no almonds, nothing, no nuts.
that's kind of unusual.
Yeah. I wanted to create something which is again, available for every single palate.
Well, you just did. Do you also get involved in the different market niches? I mean, I know that you are lunch and dinner. Do you have a really good online ordering delivery program? And if so, about what percentage of your revenue now is doing in that niche?
About 35% into the third parties right now after COVID. And even during COVID, we partnered up with Audible, which had their headquarters in Newark, and we were part of Newark Working the Kitchen.
Okay.
And I, me and my chef, we used to cook every single morning during COVID. Since it started, we used to go to the restaurant every single day, cook 500 meals, and deliver it to senior housing, low income housing, and that kept us alive. So Audible played a very big part in that. And, that deal with them was amazing. They helped
Yeah.
us serve the community, they helped us connect with the community and kept our kitchen running.
Yeah. And that not only did that really help you in the short term because it kept the kitchen operating, but what a wonderful long-term connection to make to be able to stay community active, feed senior living. I would imagine that that fits right in with your marketing philosophy. Do you market your brand through the local community by doing an awful lot of, I don't know, events and functions?
Yep. So right now at North Brunswick in our suburban area, what I do here is I partner up with a lot of cricket teams. I partner up with the high school. We have partnered up with a lot of youth organizations here, and we do a lot of fun
Mhm.
stuff. We want the youth. They call them Gen Z now. I still call them youth.
Yes.
I'm still young. I'm not saying I'm old. I'm just saying that but there's another part of the consumers which are very young, and they need this. They really need to understand what hospitality means. Because one thing one thing I remember when I came to the US in 2010 was the hospitality was amazing.
Yeah.
McDonald's, was amazing. Chipotle was amazing. Starbucks was amazing. And just it's just very s- it's very subconscious for us to neglect this, but I don't see hospitality here anymore. And my
Oh,
friends keep telling me, who owns other the businesses, like sales are dropping. I'm like, you know why the sales are dropping? Are you doing the same thing what we used to do back in 2010?
wow.
Are you giving that experience to your customer? Yeah, your food is good, your vibe is nice, but the experience to your consumer, is it still the same? Do you give that same high comfort level to every single guest that comes in? Do you treat them as guests anymore now, or is it just the ticket for you? So if you so if you so if you do indulge in you if you do indulge in giving that experience to your consumer, you won't struggle. The reason why the industry is struggling is also because we have somehow in the race of technology and running towards getting the new toy that makes you money, we lost hospitality. So if somehow we can introduce to the youth and get our Gen Z behind it and let them know, hey, this is what restaurants stand for, this is what we want to serve you, and this is the experience we want you to experience.
Wow, that's a pretty big statement there, and I think that there would be maybe some that agree with you. I know that the industry really is trying to connect very well to the use of technology. But I don't, believe that technology means that increasing convenience allows us to decrease the service, the guest experience, as you mentioned. So it sounds like to me, if I paraphrase you, you're looking at a short-term challenge that the industry must, I guess, elevate the level of hospitality so that we're delivering the experience the guest deserves along with the convenience that they want.
Yeah, I say this to my team every the 10 times a day. Humans need to start humaning. You are a human, act as a human. So you start humaning, say this as a joke, but it's true. You gotta be human. You can't human experience a human to human interface. You can never, replace that with any form of technology. So when my team speaks to the customer, yes, you can show them the board where the signs are, but you need to speak as well. You need to let them know what we have, why they need to try this, what this item is made out of, what you stand for, who are you. Let them know you by just conversation of, hey, try this. It's
So
not
I
that.
imagine then that at Sigri Indian Barbecue, you've got some extensive training because people just don't come in knowing this
Yeah.
anymore, I don't believe.
Yep. So it's not rocket science. See, again, I'm going to use the term. You need to start humaning.
Yes, humaning.
Human need to start humaning. Like, you have to speak and act like a human.
I'm going to use that. I'm going to use that. I'll give you credit, but I love that. It's a good slogan.
Yeah. So that's I love doing that, and it makes me really happy when I see my team member have that conversation with the customer, because the customer, somebody who is not so accustomed to Indian food, he needs that introduction. He needs
Sure.
introduction. Hey, try the Sigri rice. This one has crispy onion, cilantro, saffron. With the curry lime is going to have a little bit of a tart and the curry flavor into it. Chicken tikka is a little spicy. The Malai chicken is not spicy like at all. Lamb is something which is going to be more fattier. Salmon is going to be much more fatty. Busted with omega 3, and it's cooked in the tandoor, so the salmon's going to have the juice in it. When you introduce your food or something that you're serving to your customer, you it's a very human thing to build confidence, right? When somebody tells you, like, honestly what he thinks, how the food has been made, it's very simple for your consumer to understand that, okay, I think he knows what he's talking about.
Yes.
Reading the ingredients is just not enough. I go to Sweet Greens and I read all the ingredients, I get happy, but that's about it.
Yeah.
But I need a human to, make me feel that, okay, this is whatever you're saying on the ingredient. I feel you, like you're a part of that clan, the community.
So how do you get that experience for the listeners who also have counter service, where they know people are going to go in, they're going to have the menu board to see, and they're going to walk down the line. They're going to place the order, get their food, and leave. Obviously, that they're going to be moved along, and it's not going to take a very long time. They don't have that sitting at a table with a server coming to you for 30 or 45 minutes. So how do you get that experience across when you don't have very much time to interface with
So we have boards up on our, our top of our prep line, and we also have ingredient stickers on the glass on the front of our the prep. So it makes it easier for the consumer to read it very quickly. But again, the team member needs to allow them to, let them know and move it much more faster, because a lot of people don't know what cardamom is. A lot of people don't know what saffron is. A lot of people don't know what star anise is. So they don't really understand what the things are. But what a team member or a human can do is make them feel what kind of flavor this might have. What this food, or what, I tell my team members this lot of times. Imagine you're listening to a music, right? You you just got introduced to a new artist who is, who's doing very good in pop or country music. You're going to let your friends know to listen to him. Why? Because he makes you feel a certain way.
Sure.
Right. So same way, when you introduce somebody to a butter sauce, them know, okay, with chicken tikka the butter sauce goes very well because it will make your bowl much more palatable and much more creamier. It's going to make you feel that, it's going to make you feel like it's not too spicy, but it's the big explosion of flavor.
That makes sense.
With a hint of sweetness, and you're going to get a little kick of spice at the end.
Okay.
So now you understand, okay, yeah, so I want to experience this. This might be something why I came inside the door.
Well, this is great. You painted a wonderful picture. We've spent a lot of time talking about the experience, the menu, and the staff, and I love it. You painted a great picture. Let's flip for just a second now and talk maybe about potential challenges that you face, either because of your product line and because of the fact that the menu isn't as common as others. Do you have vendor challenges, or is it easy to find the product that you need in order to make it here?
Yes. So as a single unit owner in Newark, and as a 2-unit operator from Newark and North Brunswick, for the 6 years it was very tough. But since we partnered up with Craveworthy Brands, they have an amazing team.
Good.
starting from supply chain, the operations. I was introduced to a gentleman called Matt Ansero. He is the founder of I'll Wing It On, and he's a close friend of mine now. He's one of the very important member of Craveworthy Brands in operations, and he taught me a lot of stuff when it comes to how to deal with vendors again, how to how to get your right products in, your how a corporate why a corporate is not necessary, but it plays a big role in success of a brand like this. Like why streamlining and systemizing and standardizing every single recipe is important.
Yeah.
Why you need an SOP, why you need
Sure.
how to see, again, to answer your question, right, how to see address your challenges, because operating one store is a different story. But then again, when you start franchising and when you have to support hundreds of franchisees, this is what we need, and Craveworthy Brand has been amazing providing that support to me.
Okay. Well, that's marvelous. And seeing that's why I brought up challenges and I started with operational product because you had mentioned earlier on
Yeah.
franchising. So I thought, oh, the light bulb was blinking. You obviously have some short-term growth goals. And it looks like this is a concept that you want to grow through franchising. How did you and your partner reach that decision that you wanted to grow in that direction? And what do you see as your first steps in getting this into other markets?
So even introducing Sigri Indian Barbecue initially, the whole reason why we wanted to do an Indian restaurant this way, because this is the only way which is scalable.
Okay.
So we wanted to scale for sure. Like that's why we created the concept with very condensed menu and keeping everything standardized and systemized. But then again, after a few years, when you understand that okay, not a single vendor is ever going to carry Indian groceries, and we have to have multiple vendors, that's where things started to fall apart. Like it was like, okay, should we go here? Should we go there? Now we're going to start a location, 35 miles away from here. So this vendor is not going to be able to deliver it to us. And we can't find somebody over there. That's why getting your supply chain right and getting help from outside was very important. And scalability and franchising to me is, I think, is the only way to include the community and motivate others to come join your brand.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because for me, I think franchising, I've seen a lot of people from my community joining a franchise system early on back in 2000s or 1900s, and they're flourishing. They came from a place where they had to make a living, and now they're millionaires. So that's an American dream.
Uh-huh.
American dream that come true. And that's one thing that I thought that Sigri Barbecue will be able to achieve once we start franchising and once we start getting people into our system. And there is no other better way for me than to introduce that with Indian food.
That's wonderful. So how far along are you with that plan as far as setting up the franchising? I know that there's a program to go through. There's a lot of legal registrations. And have you already selected markets that you want to go to?
Yep, we have. We are franchising, and I think, don't quote me, but I think in 44 states. We are special. The one that I'm really happy about is we are registered in New York, New Jersey, and all the East Coast region, like Florida. There's some that that needs separate registrations. I'm not
Yeah,
professional in that part. I don't have my numbers right on there, but I know that we are legally franchising in in almost every state,
that's
and we
fantastic.
have thousands of applications now. It's
You
getting
do?
to a point, yeah.
How did you get that's phenomenal. So you have 2 company stores. You don't have any franchises open yet, but you have over 1,000 applications to open up a franchise?
Yep. And we have a franchise agreement signed also. We haven't made it public yet, so I can't really disclose that, but
Mhm.
have it. And what we're gonna do in the coming months is we're gonna get more people into the system. But we are being very strategic about this. We don't want early adopters of the franchisees to be, or I can say we want the early adopters to be partners equally, with us.
Okay.
We want them to play a big role in our growth. And it's
Right.
important that we create a very strategic, partnership with all these franchisees, especially when it comes to, the supply chain again, because no franchisee is going to be very happy about, you know, making everything fresh in their own brick and mortar, but
Okay.
they will have to, or we'll have to create a supply chain where they get the fresh ingredients every week.
Right.
Experience
Right.
is very important, and we want even our future franchisees to know that this is what we stand for. It has to be fresh Indian food.
Sure.
See, as long as it's fresh, it's always going to be delicious.
So the East Coast is the first step for expansion. Again, makes sense. Other people that I know that have tried this as a expansion direction would probably be echoing the same thing. I'm thinking of other people that have been on previous programs, and they said that they were cautioned to make sure that they don't just sell franchises because the people are interested, or because the state sounds interesting, or because they are excited and they send in a check, but to be strategic about where you align your units so that you can provide the support. As
Exactly. Yeah. That's one of the reasons why, in every sales call that I'm dragged into, I speak to a lot of individuals who want to invest because, again, from my the community, right, from India, when somebody comes to the US and somehow they make it, the first thing they want to do is they want to open an Indian restaurant. Every single one that I've spoken to, but they all have full-time jobs.
yeah.
So do you want what why do you want to be an owner of Sigri Indian Barbecue, franchisee? Is it the food? Is it the people? Or is it just your freedom?
Well, and hopefully, yes, and hopefully they understand that it's something that they want to do, that they're passionate about, and they understand the lifestyle. I have seen people tell stories where someone wanted to be the franchisee, and the answer was to the first item. It's because I just love what you're doing. I love the food. I'm eating here all the time. I wish I had it closer to my home. So please let me franchise in my state. And then they find out that, oh, that was a problematic franchisee. They love the food, but not so much loving the industry and the work that's involved. And are they passionate enough to sacrifice and to put in the hours and have the lifestyle? Because it's, as you know, this is hard work.
It's hard work, and and serving somebody food, to me, it's very personal. It's very something that you take pride of. No,
Of
it's
course.
it's not just a business. You're giving somebody an item that gonna keep him alive. They're gonna keep him happy. They're gonna make him go home and give a kiss to his wife. If he eats good food and he's happy, if he's stuffed, if he experienced an hour, 2 hours, 5 hours, 8 hours of being that flavoring in his mouth, it makes his day, and that can go a long way. So you're doing something very important. It's not just for you, just to make a couple of bucks.
Wow. Well
Serving,
put.
yeah. So serving food, you can't take that for granted.
No,
Yeah,
I think
you can.
I think that's the reason why it made so much sense, the explanation that you gave to hospitality, the explanation you gave to the creation of the experience. You have such a commitment to wanting to make sure that this food is taken personally and that you're making a difference. It's not just a meal and then go back home. It's supposed to be more of a break in the day.
Yeah.
This has been inspirational. Your approach to the Indian counter service restaurant concept is inspiring. You see it as obviously much more than the function of let's be quick, convenient, and serve food. I wish you well. I'm so excited by the prospects of your growth. I'm also really, really thankful that you and your partner did this in the first place, because taking something, as we all know, is intricately prepared item, Indian food, but modeling it more off of the simplistic street food to keep the menu limited so that you can scale. Very smart. And I think it's great learning about that today. And I wish you, continued success.
Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you. And yes, one thing I would like you to do is just make a trip, try the food.
Absolutely. I know. I think that's the tough thing. Hey, listeners out there, the tough thing is right now, unless you're in New Jersey, there's only 2 units today. And so we've done all this delicious talking, but we're a little stranded. It sounds like, however, that Sigri Indian Barbecue might be coming to a neighborhood close to us soon. So
Very soon,
if you're not there now, at least you can check them out on the website. Look it up, Sigri Indian Barbecue. We've been talking with Utkarsh Yadav, the founder and partner in this effort. And I've really appreciated your time. Utkarsh, thank you so much for joining us. Continued success. Go make this a big deal.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much, Chris.
And to everybody else, go make it a great shift. I hope you have a wonderful day in the industry, and I hope you can meet up really quick on another Corner Booth. Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us on the Corner Booth. We'll be back next Tuesday with more inspiration, insights, and industry best practices to help you engage your team, delight your guests, and grow your business.